Hi everybody, English Bob here and welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2. So today we're in our MAN F2000. I think it's a MAN F2000 anyway, it could be a MAN F90. Doesn't really tell us, does it? We've got a job on from Birmingham to Roscoff. It's our first job in the little MAN F2000. It says 11 hours, but quite a lot of that is going to be sailing.
Okay, here we go.
So let's power this MAN up.
Keep right.
And let's see how the journey goes. So it's 11 hours 29 minutes
Go straight
to Roscoff from Birmingham. So I think the journey is Birmingham down to the port in Plymouth. So it's a good run down to Plymouth, then a short hop on the ferry, though it's quite a long hop actually, and then into Roscoff. So let's get it done and let's see how we get on with this little MAN, see if it performs with a tiny 195 brake engine. So this is going to be interesting, I have to say. This is the Cyrus the Virus mod. There we go. And as I say, it is available on 147 now. If you're on the latest version of the game and you fancy a bit of a more classic truck,
keep left and then continue straight
rather than something modern, it is 100% free of charge. I'm not sure if it's available on the Steam Workshop. Probably is, although you might have to get it off an external third-party site, which is never a good thing really. But hey, not all the mod trucks make it to Steam Workshop for whatever reason. But nevertheless, this should give us some interesting driving challenges in itself, especially being an old truck. Now I have updated the list of commands that I've got entered in this game, just in case any of you haven't put them into your game. These commands are stuff that I personally like, so you might not like them, so if you do think about putting them in the game, bear that in mind. It might not suit you, it does me, but it might not you. I actually forgot to enter them in the game and list them actually in the previous video, so if you notice subtle little changes like, you know, the mirror view distance and stuff not suddenly disappearing into thin air, which is quite nice. You might not also like the rate of acceleration and the emergency brake settings that I've also got in. I can't imagine this little truck's going to do much more than 50 mile an hour. You might not also like the traffic levels. That again is very much a personal choice, and B, depends very much on the power of your hardware, whether it can handle that amount of traffic. The default setting is 1.0. I've currently got mine set on 0.5 actually, and I find 0.5 is good enough usually. Excuse me. So it looks like flat out 48 mile an hour is our it, unless it's downhill. The truck itself does drive beautifully and responds well. It's got very good immersive levels of bounce and all the rest of it, which again you can personalise and set yourself. But it is nice to have a mod truck in the game. And as I say, she's running very, very well on this little rig, nice and smooth, not causing us any major framing, droppage issues or anything else, which is always a good sign. As I say, your mileage may vary. So you lot suit yourself. You of course might have different favourite trucks, and let's be honest, there's a hell of a lot of them out there to choose from. There really is, from just about every country and continent in the world. There's also all the South American mods as well, which are customised, I guess, for South American style of play. Usually lowered at the front with their arses in the air. There's also the Turkish contingent as well, who have their own unique modding styles. So there's plenty for you all to choose from. And I think it really does give both games an incredible amount of depth. Euro Truck, out of the two games, Euro Truck and American Truck, is definitely the most mature and the richest version of the game for sure. But if you are going to make changes to your system, make sure that you do make matching changes. So for argument's sake, if I was going to do a G underscore traffic and up it from 0.5 to 1.0, also make sure you put a G underscore traffic underscore LOD 1.0 to keep everything balanced. Hang on, bear with me a second, all. I can't even remember my own bloody command. Just saying. Yeah. That's because I'm a slatcher, unfortunately. Bit of a slacker. So the correct command is, of course, G underscore LOD underscore factor underscore traffic 1.0. And you need to make sure that both commands are always put in. Some commands are singular, some have pairs, some even have triples. But if you don't make sure that those that do have pairs or more of commands are put in equally, then you'll have anomalies and graphical glitches and lose a bit of smoothness, etc. So always make sure the commands that you're putting in, you know which are singular and which have, if you like, dedicated mates. So we've now got it on the default, which is 1.0. I don't know if this is too much for this PC's graphics card to handle it, maybe. I guess we'll see. But it does increase the traffic rate, and it means that it's got to draw and render a lot more sprites on the screen, which can induce micro stuttering or micro freezes even in the worst possible scenario. But we'll leave it on 1.0 for now, just to demonstrate the commands to you. You can activate the console, by the way, by going into your global.config file in the in the documents Euro Truck Simulator 2, and then in there you'll see a file called cfg.cfg global config file. Just open that up with Notepad, and then you want to set the following commands from 0 to 1. The first one is developer, the second one is console. Make sure both of those settings are set at 1, and then when you press the tilde key on your keyboard, you'll get the command console come up, and from that you can enter all sorts of cool commands and stuff, which in a lot of instances will really save you hunting for, downloading and trying mods. For argument's sake, the uset G underscore bloom space 0 just turns bloom off, and a lot of people that I do see do tend to, go for hunting no bloom mods and this graphical mod, that graphical mod. Well, you can do it straight out of the global.config command list. So do check them out if you really want to fine tweak and hone your installation and experience of both Euro Truck and American Truck Simulator. And of course, if you're running the latest bang up to date version, you'll have a bigger list of possible commands. Pretty much with every release, the command list grows and gives you a lot more extra settings and options and control over the game and the world in which you exist. And the idea really is to make it as not realistic, but as immersive as it can be. So you can do all sorts of wacky things. Just make sure that you do your research for maximum number sets. So the maximum amount of traffic is 10. If you put 12 in, it won't work. Simple as that. So you do need to know what the limitations of the commands you're using are, but they are a one-time entry setup, so once they're in there they should stay saved. But I do recommend you make a backup of your saved global.cfg file, just in case you get an update, come down and overwrite it and put it back to default. Then it's a relatively easy job for you to just restore it back to your personal global.cfg file without all the hassle of having to go through a default one and re-enter all the commands in again, a lot of which you'll probably have forgot. So yeah, I do recommend that you make a backup of your global.cfg file should you decide to make any changes to it. And as I say, the idea is it really allows you to personalise your Euro or American truck specifically to you, for your pleasure, your
Keep
enjoyment.
Right, and then continue straight on.
And as I say, that's one of the things I love about this game. The level of uniqueness and personalisation you can do for very, very little effort. It's absolutely amazing for that, it really is. Just once again, a massive thanks to everybody who requested that I narrate in all these videos. It'll be my pleasure, and I hope you enjoy the narration even if I'm sat here chatting shit. Just saying, but I'll do my best to keep you entertained. Not quite Robbie Williams standard, let me entertain you, but
Go
anyway,
straight on.
I'll do my best to keep you at least mildly amused, if not interested. Probably not. Interested's probably a bit of a stretch, but anyway. I do watch an awful lot of other YouTubers and live streamers videos and streams to not so much pinch ideas or anything like that, but just to see what their quality's like on, you know, really good gaming rigs compared to what my quality is like, you know, on a dumpster divot PC, you know, the absolute bottom of the food chain. And I have to say, in a lot of the instances, I think, you know, my content holds up in terms of pictorial and audio quality. It's not the best, it's not the smoothest, but we're using a 2 gig graphics card, people, really. And even that is a Hewlett Packard OEM card. It's not even a big brand, you know. It's not an XFS or a, you know, Zotac or anything like that. It's just a cheap 2 gig OEM job, and it's good enough. And hopefully, I mean, like I say, when I'm just playing the game, the content quality is superb, it's stunning. Obviously, once I'm piling the pressure on and recording these videos, then it becomes a lot more difficult, because you're really putting the whole PC under pressure. I'm only using, you know, a Qud Core PC, 4 core 4 thread. I'm not using a, you know, 12 core 24 thread processor. So as I say, if you're thinking about doing your own content, you know, a quad core processor and a 2 gigabyte graphics card is good enough. A, if you lower your expectations, and B, if you're prepared to tweak and customise the world a little bit in your favour, rather than just trying to run it stock. Now, as I say, the thing that worried me the most about this was using an AMD graphics card, because normally I'm an Nvidia guy, I have to be honest, and I've always used Nvidia, never used AMD, but AMD graphics card seems to have a quality and a clarity to the image on your screen that Nvidia can only dream about. So, however, my biggest worry not using Nvidia is I couldn't use Nvidia Profile Inspector, which as a tool is an absolute godsend. It really is. It's an amazing bit of kit, and really allows you to tweak and override the graphical settings of the game to the nth degree, to really hone it to your hardware and your environment. So I was inherently delightfully surprised when just using the base SCS graphics, which is what we're using here, plus an AMD graphics card, and it was all pretty darn good. You know, it's not silky smooth all the while. There are micro stutters, micro freezes now and again, but like I say, you know, we have to lower expectations to match the level of hardware that we're running. You know, if you go into it thinking that your little $100 budget PC is going to look as good as a £5 gaming rig, you're deluded. But as I say, if you lower your expectations put a bit of effort into tweaking your personal copy of the world, you'll have a wonderful immersive experience that will give you hundreds if not thousands of hours of playing game time pleasure. I can't think of too many other games that offer you that level of pleasure for so long. But anyway, that's, as I say, that's my two penneth worth. You might disagree, you might find it like watching wet paint dry. I get it. I find it just inherently fascinating, relaxing, enjoyable. Bit of a busman's holiday for me because I drive for a job obviously, but not a truck, not in real life. So it just depends on what your pleasure and your leisure is and what floats your boat. But it shocks me still that a game from 2012 in 2023 is just as popular now as when it launched, if not more so. There's still so many different YouTubers from all over the world doing video material and live streams on Euro Truck and American Truck. There's thousands of players on Truckers MP multiplayer. A lot of their servers are full, 5,000 plus players per server. And also on the streaming channels, your twitch.tv, you'll always find plenty of truck streams on both Euro Truck and American Truck. The thing for me is that not many people play it with full immersion. You know, you'll always get your silly streams where they're just bezzing it about at 200 mile an hour in a truck. Yeah, okay. So, you know, you've got to choose and decide what your pleasure is. If that's your thing, then you won't be short on content creators that do that sort of stuff. You know, if you're into virtual trucking companies, well, again, there's gazillions of them out there.
Straight on.
A lot of them you can join the discords and the communities and go and do live convoys with, you know, other internet friends, spend some time online in multiplayer. I mean, the choice is just absolutely yours there for the taking. It really, really is. You can just fill your boots and knock yourself out. Which again, for a £4 game, that's going to take some beating people, I'm just saying. When you factor that in, now you could argue,
and then continue straight on.
excuse me. Now you could argue,
go straight on.
by the time you've bought all the DLCs, it's not a £4 game. Yeah, there is that perspective. But I would also counter-argue that comment with, well, but you can buy the base game and play it forever for £4. You know, you're not forced to spend another penny on the game like a lot of the modern games. You know, force you to make micro purchases. Well, you know, you don't have to purchase this, but it, you know, it's going to take you 200 hours. Whereas get the credit card out, you're done. The other thing with this game is, you know, you can dictate yourself how big your drivable world is, and you can use just the base game. You can buy all the SCS DLCs, or you can get a lot of the free third-party map expansions like Pro Mods, like Rust Maps, that sort of thing. And you could do, I think the latest count is a 47 map mod world combo, which is, it would probably take you almost a lifetime to complete driving all the areas of that map. So, you know, you really do have a wonderful, wonderful array of options for making this game your own. Right down to, first of all, how big the map is that you want to drive on, to the quality of the maps, all the different mod trucks that you can get pretty much for free in Euro Truck. A lot of them in American Truck are payware by third-party modders, whereas in Euro Truck they tend to be free. Very little payware in Euro Truck, a lot of payware in American Truck. So, and also Euro Truck is very mature, having had a predecessor which was originally called Euro Truck Simulator. It's also had a spin-off called Scania Truck Simulator before Euro Truck Simulator 2 was released. American Truck Simulator doesn't really have that pedigree, as it was released 2016, I think, American Truck, so it is the newer game. I do personally think of the two games, American Truck is the better game, but if you're after the most bang for the buck in terms of freeware, free mods, you can't go wrong with Euro Truck. Whereas with American Truck you are going to have to get the credit card out if you really do want to customise the game beyond the bare basic, if you like. Whereas Euro Truck Simulator, you can pretty much do it for free, whether it be map mods, truck mods, you know, graphic environmental mods. You know, you really can pretty much do it all for free on Euro Truck. Whereas American Truck, at some stage, you are going to have to get the credit card out if you want to complete your own unique build. So there really is that to bear in mind. But it is very, very easy to make Euro Truck or American Truck uniquely yours, and I can't think of too many other games where that's so readily accessible. And as I say, with pure family-friendly content in the game, so you can give it to your grandkids, your kids, whatever, you've not got to worry. And I think it's just the exciting opportunity to drive different trucks, loads, different challenges, etc. I think it's all just so wonderfully amazing to have it all in game. But that's just my 10 cents. So yeah, if you are thinking of splashing out the £4 on Euro Truck or American Truck, I can heartily 1000% recommend it to anybody and everybody. It really is a wonderful experience from start to finish, providing you put a little bit of initial effort in to setting the game up,
turn right,
how you want it, how you want to play it, how you want to experience it, and how you want to enjoy it, because at the end of the day, that's really what it's about. It's your pleasure, isn't it? Nobody else's. So
keep left and then turn left.
So yeah, you'll find your journeys, I
Turn
think
left.
they're a quarter real world time, so it only takes 25% in-game time of what it would take in real life. So if 100 miles is going to take you 100 minutes, well, you know, 100 miles on standard in Euro Truck and American Truck will take you 25 minutes. That's simple. So the journeys do feel quite long, but they're reasonably
Get ready
long.
to turn right.
You know, they don't go on forever unless you do, you know, a ridiculous 59-hour journey across continents. Then yeah, sure, it's going to take forever. I think we can nip out there quite nicely, as the actress said to the bishop. I'm assuming we're now in Plymouth, making our way down to the Plymouth docks to get the ferry over to Roscoff. I'm hoping that this ferry will wipe out the impending sleep
at the roundabout
that is currently being shown on the blue bed. But we'll have to see. And then I think once we hit the port of Roscoff, it's a short hop to make the delivery at the port of Roscoff. So, but this is at least showcased the fact that you can have bang up to date super modern trucks, or you can have a little bit older school trucks as well, all without spending a dime really, which is,
to turn right.
like I say, very rare in this day and age. Usually microtransactions come as standard. That's my new phone quite happily blinging away there, which makes me giggle. So here we are at said port. That is such a car hooter. Hey, we're going to leave it on. A bit wacky, like me really. Nice BP tanker trailer there, buddy. Just saying, that's gorge. Beautiful harbour. As I say, you know, when you think it's a graphical representation of the world, it's not a Google map copy. It's just a graphic representation which gives you the ability to test your driving skills in an online environment. And mightily pretty darn good it is as well. It's gorgeous. You will get some amazing graphical views as well, which never ceases to amaze me. You'll always discover content that you just didn't even know existed in the game in the first place. So here we are at said harbour. So let's pick up the ferry over to Roscoff, and hopefully it's going to wipe out the bed. Yep, it's the only possible option. 7 hours, €900. So that should literally.
Okay, let's find a new route.
That should literally wipe out our sleep, I hope, at the other side. Yep, and there we go. Sleep's gone. Bon voyage. 2 at 29. So here we are at Roscoff on the other side of the channel. In France, as you can see, short hop. So let's go and see what nightmare awaits us for parking up said trailer. We are now on the continent, which means we have to drive on the wrong side of the road, as they do in the United States. But hey, look, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, just saying. So the least we can do is respect the laws and the way they drive in foreign lands. Well, foreign to an Englishman anyway. And we need to get over at the Dover in order to get out of here. I have to say it's a big thumbs up from me on this little man mod truck. She's been a delight to drive and a delight to do the delivery with. I'm quite surprised she's even got enough guts to pull this 19-ton load.
Get ready to turn left.
Enough guts she has got, actually.
Turn left.
The engine and brake sounds are pretty good. They're all included with the mod. And as I say, she's been a little gem to bring over to Roscoff.
Turn right.
Mind you, Roscoff is French, isn't it? Not Russian. Roscoff for secretary. Strong Russian port.
Here we are.
Okay, so the only problems I have with this sort of drop off is I never know which way to go in, because don't forget I'm on skilled parking, so it's always going to want it backed up in a delivery bay, which is fine. It just depends which side you've got the most room for manoeuvring shenanigans. Okay, we'll try and remember my best advice to you lot as drivers. Try and make life as easy as possible for yourself. Don't make parking trailers up any more difficult than what it is. Get the hazards on as we're on site. We've got a remaining cab to back this bad boy up. We don't want to go and overcook it. We do want to turn it enough to slip it in the bay so that it gives the game gives us it. I think I've chuffed it. Yeah, chuffed it and muffed it. That's alright. If that's the case, just pull it out. Give yourself enough room. Repeat said process. Don't forget, it doesn't have to be millimetre perfect. As long as you pop it right in that box there. As I say, your biggest enemy when reversing trailers is overcooking it. And the only way you'll know if you've overcooked it is experience, is by doing it. Okay, Okay, so I'm a bit on the jack tris, I think. Cab wise, but the trailer's perfectly square, so I'm going to take that. And let's see how we did on the journey. Excellent. I don't expect nothing less from EB, the Pro Trucker, just saying. So there you go. We are now the proud owners of a MAN F2000 15192. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the drive. Please rate, comment, subscribe. Thumb the videos up or down. I will see you for another wicked English Bob video.